First of all, mantra meditation is meditation. So what is meditation? Basically, it means to stop thinking. But to stop thinking is not so easy. So, technically speaking, meditation means to think only one thing. Instead of thinking this and that and such and going, endlessly from one subject to another, you try to think only one thing for a certain period of time. That is meditation. And then through doing that, you might actually end up in a state of not thinking, of being thoughtless. Like you are being in deep sleep, but you are still awake. It's a little bit like that. So then the question obviously comes, why would anybody want to do such a strange thing? So why do we want to do that? Well, anything we want to do it because we expect it to make us more happy. Whether we have ice cream or a party or a new car or whatever, that always is the case. So this is also true for meditation. We expect that it will make us more happy. So, how do we come to such an idea? Well, once we analyze the issue of happiness, we start understanding that when we want something and are able to fulfill that desire, get that thing, that then we are happy. But very soon again, some unhappiness comes and we start wanting something else. So then we can realize that the reason why we are happy after fulfilling a desire is because for a moment, for a short time, we are without desire. We just are happy. So the whole idea is to stop this idea that something is wrong, that something is needed, that we need something to be happy, and just be happy without needing anything. But to stop that, we have to stop our mind. Our mind is a fantastic tool. It's a very essential tool. Without it, we could not live. Because there are still some things we need, like food and shelter, clothes. Mind helps us to get these things. So mind is programmed to always help us to get whatever we want. It is programmed to see every opportunity for getting what we want. So in that way, it is programmed to always talk to us and tell us, oh, you might have this, and if you do that, you might get that, and so on. So if we want to reach that state of being happy without desiring anything in particular or needing anything in particular, then we need to be able to stop mind. That is why we want to learn meditation. But to stop mind is not easy. If you've never tried, you might just now try to just stop thinking. And usually you find that it's not so easy. So meditation is then a technique to make it more easy. And I can tell a little story about that, which explains how it works. It's a story about a poor man in India waking up in his little hut and feeling very hungry. And he looks in his pockets and he finds, oh, I still have 1 rupee. That's not worth much, but at least with that rupee I can go to the market and maybe buy a few potatoes or something, bad quality probably, but still it'll be able to fill my belly and I will not feel hungry. So he goes to the market, walks around, trying to find the best possible deal for his 1 rupee. And then suddenly he sees there a man, really nicely dressed, much nicer than most other merchants, sitting behind a small table, and on that table there is a little oil lamp. And in front of the oil lamp there's a little card which says 1 rupee. That is very strange, because that oil lamp should be worth like 100 rupees or something. But still, I can ask. So he asks the man, what's wrong with this oil lamp that you are only asking 1 rupee for it? It should be worth more. And he said, well, actually there's nothing wrong with the oil lamp. But there's one little thing, which is why I want to sell it for 1 rupee. Because in this lamp there is a genie. A genie is a kind of a ghost, you could say, a spirit. Like you have in Aladdin and the Wonderland. And so this genie in there, he fulfills every desire you have. Well, the poor man says, you should ask 1,000,000 rupees for that, if he can fulfill any desire. Yes, well, but I already have everything. I've asked him many things. But there is one problem with him. When I don't ask him something new, he starts being angry. He starts being bored. He wants to have something to do. So he asks me, what do I have to do? And I tell him, you don't have to do anything. I have already whatever I want. And then he starts taking away all the things that he has given me, just out of anger, because I'm not giving him any new tasks. So I want to get rid of him. And I can't just give him away. So 1 rupee is enough. For that you can have it. Well, the poor man says, I have no problem with that story, I'm a poor man, I have nothing at all, give it to me. So he buys the oil lamp, takes it to his hut. The genie comes out and asks him, okay, new master, what do you want? What is your desire? Oh, he says, I am so hungry still, Please give me a table with food fit for a king. And the genie goes like this, and there is a table. Oh, this and that and such, and he doesn't even, know where to start when the genie already asks him, Master, what can I do for you? Come on, man, let me eat, I don't even have the time to enjoy this meal. You already want me to think of something else? He said, yeah, Master, if you don't think of something else, I'll have to take away this food again from you, I need something to do. All right, build me a palace fit for a king. There is the palace. He starts walking around in the palace, seeing the first bathroom, second bathroom, The genie is there, Master. What can I do for you? What is your desire? So it goes on and on and on and on until really he can't think of anything anymore, and he has all that he ever desired but can't enjoy it. So he says, take me to my old teacher there under the tree, by the lake. Maybe he'll know what is the solution. So the genie does like this. There they are. You explain it to him, he says to the genie, because I don't even have the time to do anything with you around. So the genie explains the problem to the saint. And the saint says, I know a solution to that. And he whispers something in the man's ear. And the man says, okay, that's a good idea. So he says to the genie, bring me a long pole, like 6 meters long. There it is. Now put it straight up in the ground. Okay, there it is. And now, genie, you will climb into the pole, and when you are up, you go back down, and when you are down, you go back up, etc. So the genie has no other option. He always has to obey what the master says, to go up and down the pole. And finally the man can have some peace, some rest, and they have a cup of tea and talk about it. And so. And at some point the teacher says, now look what happened. And they look at the genie, and the genie is asleep under the pole. So bored, so tired with always going up and down, nothing new, always the same thing, that he fell asleep. So this is what we do with our mind. Our mind is like this genie. Our mind can do anything for us. At least can, work out any project. If you want a Rolls Royce, mind will find a way, But if you say, I have what I need at this moment, I don't need anything anymore, I just want to enjoy whatever is there, then mind is tricky. And when you go against mind and tell him to stop, he'll start bringing up all sorts of nonsense. And he'll start making you unhappy. So that's why you need to put him on a pole. You need to put him on some kind of rhythmic movement. Put him there. And not let him go out. Push him there. You are the boss. It's your mind. Your mind is a tool. Like your arms, your legs. You put him there. And if you put him there long enough, then after a while he'll fall asleep. And then you really will know what it is to be without mind. To be without thought. So that is the basic way that any type of meditation works. Any type of meditation always in some way or other is creating a repetition. Something going on and on and on and on and on. Whichever type it is. In order to bring mind to calmness and eventually to sleep. So, and then mantra is just one way to do that. And quite an important way. If you look all around the world in every culture, mantra meditation exists in some way or other. It's a very powerful way to work with sound. Sound belongs to the element of space. You have earth and water and fire and air and space. This is the most subtle element. It is the element which is closest to mind. Mind which is essentially beyond the elements, but still is existing on an energetic level. So through sound, you can most easily affect mind. All the other senses, of course, also affect mind, but sound there is very, very powerful. Now, mantras have come to us through the Vedic tradition from the rishis. Rishis are saints and seers. That's what this rishi really means. They see things in their deep meditation. They hear things. They have heard these mantras in their deep meditation. And actually, the entire Sanskrit alphabet on which these mantras are based is not created just like A, B, C, D, E, etc., like we know it here. It is created with the exact knowledge of the effect of the sounds of these consonants and vowels on our energetic body. And the actual meaning of each of these sounds, sa, ha, etc., is directly related to the effect it has on our energetic body. So that Sanskrit is a very strange language. What you say with it also happens. It is also created inside of you. It is also created outside of you, because the energy is outside and inside both. So that makes mantra a very powerful thing. That's also what mantra really means. It's a power tool. It's a power tool for mind. Man comes from manas, which means mind. Tra means power or tool. So mantra means a powerful tool with which you can change mind, with which you can control mind. And in that way, there are actually two kinds of uses of mantra. You can use mantra as an object of meditation, like you could use also breath or some abstract idea, the self, or whatever. Yet you can also use mantra for other purposes. Mantras can be used for healing. Mantras can be used for preparing food. Mantras can be used to change your karma or other people's karma. So mantras in that way are very magical. This is not really the subject of today. And actually, if you look at the practice of it, it will be very similar. For a mantra to be effective in healing, it also has to be used a long time. And the healer who wants to use it on his patients first needs to work with it for a long time, so that this mantra is really present inside his energy body, and then maybe saying it just for a short time is powerful enough to have a certain effect on the energy body of the person he's trying to heal. So this is, in that way, not very different. But what is very different is that when you do it for healing, or even changing karma, things like that, for magic, then a lot of other things are also important. Then they will say, oh, this mantra you only use it at sunrise, and this mantra you only use on full moon, and that mantra you only use after first eating this or that. So this is very complicated. This is tantra. This is a very complicated issue. Mantra meditation, on the other hand, is a very simple issue. It just means chant a mantra, nothing more. Try not to do anything more. Try not to think, try not to walk around, try not to do anything more. No? That is mantra meditation. So in that way, mantra meditation is quite simple. But still, it's also quite difficult. Because our mind is like a monkey. It jumps around all the time. And it easily gets bored. So in a way, meditation can be really frustrating. I don't know, those who have already tried, they know what I'm talking about. It seems so simple to think only one thing for a while. But it is very difficult. So don't take it personal if it is difficult. It is difficult for everybody or for most people who try it. And just gradually, it will become more easy. And even if you are doing mantra meditation and a lot of thoughts come in between, even while you are doing the mantra, you can do mental multitasking. You can do both at the same time, very easily. Think about this and that, and at the same time chant the mantra, very easy. No? But even if that happens, you can try it, of course, that it doesn't happen. But even if that happens, afterwards the effect of the mantra will be there. So it doesn't matter all that much if thoughts come in between. Don't take it personal, don't become frustrated about it, because that'll just destroy that calmness, that peace that you are trying to create through the mantra. But to make it more easy, we also have to a little bit accept that mind does not so easily become focused on just one thing. So in the beginning, we can try to give him a little bit more. That's the basic trick how to learn meditation. You go from a practice which is more complicated, more variation is there. You start with that. And as you go into that, the mantra will start having its effect. Your mind will become more calm. And when you feel that is happening, then you can slowly make it more simple. And bring mind eventually to the most simple version of that mantra. Like in mantra meditation, this is very simple. You can chant the mantra with a lot of emotion, with a lot of sound, beautiful. Mind will enjoy that. Mind has no problem with that. If you can chant it also with some devotion to the divine, then certainly mind will go with it. Mind is all also about emotion. It's not just about thought. Emotion and thought are just two sides of the same coin. So in that way you can very easily do it. And then when you feel, okay, this is going, then slowly put a little bit more energy into it. Put a little less emotion into it. Just slowly sing more calm, more quiet, until you start maybe mumbling the mantra, start repeating in a way that is hardly audible, and then slowly even stop doing it on the outside and just do it on the inside. And even there on the inside you still have a lot of variety to work with. On the inside you can also sing beautifully, or you can sing more monotonously. So In that way, you can create a path for yourself where you sink slowly, slowly into meditation. And your mind is following. Because in the beginning, it's entertaining enough. And that way, still, you are singing mind to sleep. And slowly, slowly, it will not bother you so much anymore. So that is the basic way to do any kind of meditation, and definitely the way to do mantra meditation. And this can change. There can be days where you feel, I'm already very calm, so I don't even want to chant it out loud, I'll just go inside immediately, no problem. But there may be other days where you feel, this is really a terrible day, I shake, So then, start out loud. Don't take it personal. Mind will anyhow calm down, no problem. Take the time for mind to calm down. The only one who can stop you there is your own ego. That feels, I should be able to do it without this or that. There's no need for it. No need for it. Mind is just a tool. One day this tool is more calm, the other day this tool is less calm. Just take the time to make it more calm. And it will. So if you look at meditation that way, it really is not so difficult. Before you do the meditation, there are some things that you can do to prepare yourself. Again, a little bit depending how you're feeling. Like doing a little asana can be very good. Doing a little breathing exercise can be very good. That helps to get stress out of your body, stress out of your breath, with which you will be singing. So those things are also very good. Especially the corpse posture and breathing out towards the ground, imagining the energy flowing into the ground. It's a very easy way to just in 1 or 2 minutes calm down. Make as much contact with the floor as you can, breathe in, and then when you breathe out, make contact with the floor mentally, and the energy will just go into the floor. And you will again sit up and say, this is a different situation. So this is just one example. You can work with a little light, you can light a little lamp, you can make a little other sound, maybe put some meditation music on or something, it also helps. Some incense, very good to purify yourself and your environment, very good. And then, before you start the meditation, you have to decide what exactly are you going to do. This is very important. What mantra, how much time, in what way, you have to decide that in advance and then do it. It's one of the biggest mistakes in meditation to say, now I'm going to meditate, and then you just start doing something and you improvise as you go along. That's not meditation. Because to improvise you need to think. Then you're thinking, I'm chanting like this, I should be chanting like that, I'm sitting like this, I should be sitting like that. No. The thinking should be done in advance and maybe afterwards. Afterwards you may evaluate. I was doing like this, maybe next time I should try like that. It doesn't mean that if you're doing a meditation of 2 hours, that after 1 hour you can make some change or something. No, I'm not saying you can't do any changing. But to make clear in the beginning what you are going to do is important. To promise it to yourself, to the divine, whatever, is also not a bad idea. And one of the things which is then used in mantra meditation is this kind of rosary, which is called a mala. And then you can say, I will do 1 mala of the Gayatri mantra. And for each bead, you use 1 Gayatri. So there's 108 beads. And that keeps you busy for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending on the speed that you are using. This kind of thing is really important. If you don't somehow fix the duration, of your meditation, then after 5 minutes, your mind will find the perfect excuse to stop. If you have told yourself, I will do this mala, then for mind it's much more difficult. Because when mind starts bringing up some kind of idea about stopping, then you will say, no, I promised myself, I will do it like that. Your ego will not accept defeat. No? So it's a little trick you play with yourself, to use a mala. But you can use other things also. No? You can use grains of rice or peas, things like that, put them from one pot to another. Or you can put an alarm clock and say, I'll do it for 15 minutes. That's possible also. No? But more traditional is this. And for those who want to use a mala, the right way to hold it is like this, between those two fingers. This one also can be used, but don't use these two. Energetically, it's better not. And then just count. And it is also traditional that this beat, which is called the Sumeru, is the 109th beat, it should not be passed. So you start on one side, you go this way. If you then want to do another mala, you go back the other way around. I'm just telling how it's done there. And then what is also not a bad idea, just before you start, is to consciously drop your life. To consciously drop everything in your life. No? I don't mean you have to go through everything. It will probably take a long time. But just to feel, okay, I'm now going to meditate. I'm now going to do this mala, for example. And everything else is no use now to think about. Because thoughts will come. So to have that sankalpa, as it's called, this kind of willpower directed in a certain way, that you are not going to think about your life, is quite good.